Page 12, Für Elise, or Elise, or however you want to pronounce it, I don't care. It's a very famous melody by Beethoven. At the top of page 12, they have a little bit of theory. They have some dynamic and articulation marks. I talk about these through the pieces as we go through them, so I just do them in the pieces. We'll talk about them there. Hopefully, you'll know them. If you don't know them, you'll know them soon. They have an activity there about looking up Für Elise and all that junk, okay. They have not added pedal markings to this. I think that's a little dangerous. They haven't. So they're saying, oh, you have your teacher help you. Well, if you don't have a teacher, what do you do? So I'll try and help you add some pedal markings to this. But I do the pedaling at the end. After I've learned it and got everything working out, then I add the pedal. At the bottom of page 13, they talk a little bit about ternary forms. See, pieces, music pieces have forms. Yeah, I usually talk about them in the pieces or whatever, but ternary means three. That simply means a form that's in three parts. I don't want to get into it too much. You can Google ternary musical form or whatever and read all about it if you want. But I want to talk about this piece. I'll go through the process I normally use to learn a piece of music. Let's see what we end up with. I look it over. It's about a page and a half long, more or less. Treble and bass clef to start at least. No sharps or flats in the key signatures, so we're either in the key of C major or A minor, because those are the keys signatures with no sharps or flats. If we look at the end, the bottom of page 13 here, that is an A minor chord. We're not using all the notes. You don't have to use all the notes. Just use enough. That's enough. So we're in A minor. However, do the scales for C major and A minor both. Probably should be doing the arpeggios too. One octave up and down is fine. You don't spend a lot of time on this, just a little bit each day. But it's the trill exercise for the scales and the tremolo exercise for the arpeggios that will do you the most good. And 3/8 time signature. So 16th note just gets half a count. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and that's all. And it has a pickup beat. So we're coming in on beat 3. I want to take it one hand at a time. Again, I want a fingering that lets me connect everything if I can. So at the beginning, we have 5/4, here 3 and 1 and 2. And they do need the natural sign on the D because we just had a D sharp. So if the natural sign were not there, it'd still be a D sharp. But just a... Now, some people will finger this rather than 5/4. They will finger 4/3 here because I come down 2 and then that. But I like the 5/4 because we need to be working on our awkward fingers, and 5 and 4 are the awkward ones. So I would encourage you to use 5 and 4 here. Now, second full measure. 1 and 2. On beat 2, there's a 16th rest. Remember, a 16th rest is just the same as a 16th note, except you're quiet. So we're quiet for half a count. 1 and 2. This gives you time to move down. So it's 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, 1 and 2. That's all over. Let's go to measure 9. You're here. Then during the rest, come up. So it's 1 and 2. 1 and 2. See, here's the same rhythm, except we don't get a rest. We have to hold it down for 1.5 counts. This is measure 10. 1 and 2. 2. You reach down. 2. Now I have a habit because I used to play this way a long time ago. On this passage here, like in measure 11, I would do what's known as a finger substitution here. I play it with 3, and while I'm holding it down, I put 4 on it. This way, I'm closer to this. I can reach it better than here. I can reach it here more easily. And that's what I have the habit of doing here all the time. So starting a pickup to measure 10 is 1 and 2. And then I would substitute here and again. Again, here. Like so. Now measure 13, the right hand plays the ones with the stems going up. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and these are just octaves, that's an E. And then come down. just keep the 16th notes even, 1 and 2, and the pulse even, and you're fine. And when we add the left hand, it'll help here. But then on measure 14, we're going to rest, rest, and then here. I do a 2 is fine. In measure 15, the right hand plays the first note, the left hand plays the next 2 16th, the stems are going down, the left hand plays those, and then the right hand, they're back to what we were doing before. Yeah. Left hand, let's see, it has just 1 and 2, and it's broken chord, just in this position. And then this and you cross over. I know it's a bit awkward, but we got to do it. Here, so don't screw. If you'll relax, that thumb will move. You can turn a little bit, but don't turn a lot. Just reach. And that's about all the left hand's doing. On measure 13, the left hand is doing here's a 5 and a 5-1. That's fine. You're playing all these, so it's 5. Because I want to connect the second ones. I want to connect those, so it's. And then the right hand plays 2, and then the left hand. And then again, the left hand plays the first 2. We're playing the notes with the stems going down. And then we're back to what we were doing before. So let's put the hands together and see what kind of a thing we've got here. It's. And then here. Right when I play that, the right hand comes out. Try to come down. Left hand down. Point out something. We try and be accurate here because it can make a difference in a lot of pieces. So we just get in the habit. In the second full measure, here, the left hand has an 8th note. That's 1 full count. So I'm holding it down and lift it up here. But the rest of these are 16th notes. You don't hold them down. That's a hand. So it should sound like, don't hold them down. My tip is to hold it down. No, it's only a 16th note. Don't hold it down. Yeah. Let's go over to measure 13. We're here. And then here. We're just playing E's. And then here, and then here. See, when you're doing this, you got to get the left hand over because you can play the same notes. And then you're here, and again, we're playing the same notes. 2-note slurs, I'll come back to that. Just the kicker is make them even. Bump, 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 bump. Don't go. They got to be even. I don't know why Beethoven wrote it that way, but that's what he did, so that's what we do. Once I have the hands working together, then I'll go back over it like a section at a time. And there's 3 sections here because you hear it goes into 3 distinct groups, like chapters in a book. You get sections. The first one. And then I measure 10 or pick up to measure 10. That's a different melody. It's a different section. And then measure 15 or 16, we're back like we were at the beginning. So it's another section. So it's in 3 sections, ternary form. And we use letters for the sections, by the way. So it's first one is letter A, section A, and then section B. And then since the third section is the same as the first, we would call that section A again. So it's an ABA form, 3 form, ternary. Anyway, back to what I was doing. I get the hands together, and then I go over it like a section at a time, and I'll get rid of the hesitations. You can keep it slow. Speed isn't important, but no hesitations. And then I'll add the articulation. Now, this is very connected here. Connect it all. But when you get to measure 13, we want to hear the 2-note slurs here. We want to hear that all the way through. Now, some arrangements of this and some teachers mess that up. they would connect all that together. I really believe he wanted two-note slurs here. I think that's what he intended. So that's what I've always done. And once I have the articulation out of the way, then the dynamics. It's sort of everything, but that's what we want to hear. This other stuff, yeah. So if you bring that out, it's almost like a little crescendo on each one. Here, that would help a little bit. And all of this is very soft, by the way. It's all just in the background. Don't use the soft pedal. Learn to play softly with the hands. Well, in measure 9, now we go up to moderate, up to here. We're going to stay there. And then come down. And then we're going to go back down to very soft. Once you get to know it, if you feel a little swell here and there, get a little louder here and there, put it in. Yeah, but stay in the area of the dynamics shown. And then the speed, poco moto, well, that's not actually what he wrote, but it means a little motion. Don't rush these. That's totally out of character. This needs to gentle flow. Just a gentle slow. You don't even have to go that fast. And I might mention it while I'm on this thinking about it. At the beginning, a lot of arrangements, I think he actually did it. Beethoven may have put it in. I don't know. I haven't seen the manuscript of this. But they usually put a swell in that. Get a little louder and get softer. Right there. There, and then come down. So each time you get that passage, you just put in a little swell and come back down. I'm exaggerating it so you can hear it better, but that's, if you don't feel it, don't bother. And now the pedal. Well, let's talk about the pedal. Why are we using pedal and when are we going to use it? We don't want to smear up too much, but it would be nice to have some overtones to help us flow. And it can actually help us, like in the two-note slurs, it can help us bring those out. Believe it or not. Don't pedal this part. We don't want that. Keep that clean here. But then in the second full measure here, you can pedal that. I pedal the first 2 beats on these. Here. Then lift up. There. And you could pedal the whole thing because it's all one chord, but I want to clean it out. So I'm only pedaling the first 2 beats and lifting up, and that cleans it out. Here. I do it on all of them. And that's how I would pedal this section. I played that too fast, but I'm just pointing out the pedal. I'm pedaling the first 2 beats of those measures. Now when I get to measure 10, here, I'm lifting the pedal up with the left hand. Oh, by the way, I want to mention here on measure 11, left hand. Do a 5, 1, 2, cross over, connect those. Like you've been doing before, you did these, do the same here. There, connect those. Even though I'm pedaling, I still want to connect them with the fingers. So starting again, I pick up to measure 10, it's now, this measure 13, 14, and 15. Let's talk about that. There's a couple ways we can do this. You can leave the pedal out and hear the 2-note slurs. Just make sure you're keeping them even. Or we can pedal them. The pedal goes down with a note and up with a note, just here. Some people will do that too. I think that's a bit much. I'm too lazy to pedal that much. So I generally just don't pedal this line at all. that's how I would pedal this piece. That's what I recommend. Now, as far as the indication for the pedal, a line goes down, a little line goes down. We're about, put it down like go back to the beginning. The second full measure. Put the line down at the first beat here, and draw a line across, and then a line up under the C here in the right hand. There. Just lift the pedal up there. And do that with each of these. You're just pedaling the first 2 beats of the measure is all you're doing. And then a measure 10 here, you pedal down at the beginning out. And when the left hand comes up, so does the pedal. It comes out. So you draw your little line like that. That's the more modern way of indicating pedal, and it's easier than putting a PED in the line up across. Instead of PED, you just have a line going down. That's all. And you do it under the bottom staff. The pedal indications are always under the bottom staff of the grand staff. Now, there are many, many recordings of this piece on YouTube and wherever. So you got lots of ways you can hear people play it. And generally, it won't be this arrangement. They'll play the whole thing. But this arrangement is like the real thing. It's just a little piece of it. So you can go ahead and listen to these other people playing it, and you'll hear this melody, these 2 melodies in it. So you can hear them if you want to hear them. And different people will play them at different speeds too. Now remember the endings. You got first and second endings on both pages, more or less. So the whole thing is twice as long as it seems. That's all right.